After being asked to leave the pub, I realised that it was time to find something to eat and something to sleep. I managed to use my cellular device to navigate myself to this shop called Convenience Store. I purchased a pepperami fire stick, 4 bottles of wife beater, and a packet of saucy barbecue transformers. I needed to find a good location to sleep. I was finding it hard to operate my skateboard after poisoning myself several times throughout the day. If you're going to participate in similar activities, make sure you look after yourself, and more importantly, don't put any members of the public at risk or danger. If you see a red tractor or a big bus, you can simply hop off your skateboard and stand to one side, or sit on a nearby wall or a bus stop and have a couple of cans and maybe a trumpet, and then once the traffic has passed, it will be safe for you to carry on with your activity. On the route to my camping location, I stumbled upon a Tescos, so I took the opportunity to pop in there and grab another 5 green pepperamis and a pack of Haribo Tank Spastics. I put all 5 of the pepperamis in my bag, along with the fizzy mix, and then I carried on with my journey to the camping location, and I passed Felixstowe High Street, and as I skated down there I realised there was not a single pub on this high street. Now this would have been the perfect location for a JJB Wetherspoon Sports, but unfortunately Felixstowe hasn't invented a Wetherspoons yet. I feel like Felixstowe needs a Wetherspoons. Not every town needs one, and obviously villages and stuff don't have them, but Felixstowe is the kind of place that should definitely have a Wetherspoons. There's a lot of people here that look like they should be sat in Wetherspoons. I don't mean that in any way, in a bad way, but God, if you're listening, make Felixstowe Wetherspoons so these people have a place to go and sit and fucking just be able to interact with the other goblins. I've become tired of skateboarding, so I decided it was a good time for some good old-fashioned drink driving. And believe it or not, I actually came first, and all in my boxer shorts. Well, the route back is longer than expected, so I'm gonna have a fucking yeah. Well, I'll tell you a quick story about a couple of guys that used to live down there, just in that complex down there, and they had big shiny teeth, and do you know what? They weren't any good for anybody, and anybody tell me that you ain't got nothing, you ain't got shit, and I'll tell you that was the way to go. Well, just take a look at that for a beautiful sunrise here today in Felixstowe, and just woke up on the beach. This is where I slept last night. Apparently I didn't actually manage to put the tent up. I put together the poles, and then I had 4 pepperamis by the looks of it, and then just rolled myself up in the tent, and that was good. I had a really good night's sleep, to be fair. Put my beanie on. I remember looking for my head torch last night, trying to do stuff, couldn't find it, so I just, I was trying to find my head torch to put the tent up, I think, couldn't find it, so I just rolled myself up in it and went to bed. I had a good night's sleep, but I woke up this morning with pain around my head where it was really tight, and realised I had my head torch on my head the whole time, but I had a good night's sleep. There you go. I was on a 2-day lad holiday with myself, and I felt the need to just crack open a lukewarm bottle of Nelson Mandela at 6 a.m. whilst watching the sunset rise up over Felixstowe beach. My stomach had started rumbling like a tumble dryer, so it was time to open up the Tescos bag. Surprise. I'll be honest with you, I quite enjoy having a damp burger for breakfast from time to time. It really can be quite refreshing. Once I had finished burger, I disposed of last night's garbage and headed down to the local McDonald's, mainly to use the facilities, but I did also end up purchasing a nice little sausage breakfast. I believe that you should eat McDonald's every day if you can, because it is actually really good for you. There's a lot of people out there that are probably saying otherwise, but I don't think they really know what they're going on about. Well, okay, we've just arrived at Felixstowe skate park, which was the first ever skate park invented in England, and it was built by Sir Francis Cake. So this fantastic concrete structure, which is known as the skate park today, it wasn't always known as that. It was built back in 18 with a different purpose in mind. It was built by, as I said, Sir Francis Cake, and Sir Francis Cake was actually given his name because he loved eating cake. Cream cake, cheese cake, chocolate cake, sausage cake, shit cake, and his favourite fish cake. Now, although Francis absolutely loved having a hot fish cake for his supper, he couldn't help but notice sometimes the fish was a little bit wet. So to prevent himself and the rest of the town folk from the town of Cockface from eating more wet fish for supper, he had this concrete structure erected as a sort of place that the local fishermen could come and dry out their fish. Every Wednesday morning at about 6 a.m, the local fishermen would come and stand around the outside of the fish drying arena, and the chief fishman would stand here and he'd blow a whistle and he'd shout, "Fish, fish, fish," and then he'd slide the first fish down the ramp. It would go up the next ramp where it'd be caught by another fisherman who'd cut its face off and then just leave it on the top deck there to dry in the sun whilst all its guts just sort of drained out down the ramp. Now, some of the younger fishermen, if they weren't too busy getting fucked by the captain, would be forced to work in the base of the arena. And as you can imagine, not a pleasant job. You'd be wading up to your waist in absolute fucking slop. I probably could have stayed there skating for about another 6 minutes, but I had to remind myself that I was here to get a job done. So I went to the shop and got a couple of cold cans and sat down by the pier. Well, what a beautiful day it is, and a beautiful location as well. I've got a bit of a hangover today, but it's quite a nice one. I was a bit too hungover to skate, so I missed out on that opportunity, but to be honest with you, I'm having a nice day anyway. I've got a nice lazy day, and yeah, I'm not suffering, not in pain or anything like that, and I think it's because I drank a lot of water throughout the day yesterday, and then obviously I've slept outside and had sort of good fresh air, and I had quite a good sleep as well. So yeah, feel pretty good. I do quite fancy having a wank though. I don't know what it is when you're hungover and you sometimes you can just smash out like 4 or 5 wanks, but obviously I'm out and about and I'm not going to go and do that in like a public toilet or something like that, or under the pier. Literally a perfect location right there, but I'm not going to do that. I went through a bit of a phase in my life where
on the walk home from a night out, I'd have a pull over and have a little Anne Frank if I couldn't make it home in time. And you think about it the next day, it jumps into your head at about midday, and you're like, oh my God. You start hoping that dentist didn't have CCTV. My mate actually showed me this video a while ago of these homeless people having an orgy out the back of a supermarket, next to the bins and that. And obviously I stopped watching it immediately, but what I do remember of it was pretty graphic, like big old beards and massive bushes and like loads of cheese going on. It's pretty disgusting. And I'm pretty sure he had it saved on his laptop as like tramps trying to keep warm or something. Oh, fucking hell, I'm going on the giggles now. I can't stop thinking about it now. Open your mouth. I'm probably going to go to the doctor's tomorrow, I reckon. I went back to visit Felixstowe High Street in the day to see whether it was better than at night, but it was just the same. So I had said it was time for lunch. Today's secret sandwich is chicken and bacon sub with chocolate bars and a twister and jelly beans. And yeah, it was alright, like probably wouldn't have it again, but it was quite nice. Goblins come. Well, the time has nearly come for me to leave Felixstowe, and what a fantastic place it's been. We'll talk more about that in a bit, but now I need to get in the sea and have a bloody good wash before I go back and see Mrs. Phil, because I don't want to turn up smelling like a cereal bowl full of diarrhea. And I'm pretty sure I had a wet dream last night, and obviously I've just been going about my business today, so my foreskin probably smells like a binman's cuff. So I'm going to get in the sea and roll it back and forwards a couple of times, and yeah, try and get any chunks of like boiled egg off the end of it. Oh, there we go. We get the old it's a bit of a scrub. Let's do the underwater test.
Kiss the ground. You'll kiss the ground. You're back in Suffolk.
Sadly, our time is close to an end. As I leave the Suffolk seaside town of Felixstowe and head back across the sea into the county of Essex, I think back at my time spent in Felixstowe, and yeah, it's good. Open the shits and sniff.